Let's do a classic throwback here. This is Cameron and Damon Dash speaking to Bill O'Reilly about the influence of rap on kids.
I think that the Terminator movies are just as damaging or more so than gangster rap.
I would have to say being that there's a visual and being there's no explanation to them and being that
visuals on these rap videos too, though.
But what I'm saying is it's glorified. There's no justification for all the shooting that goes on. So if he's reporting what goes on around the street, he's a product of his environment. Not to say him, but he's reporting what is a product of his environment. How is that wrong for him to report that?
Gentlemen, let's be honest.
Thomas, I'll get in here.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Who do these kids relate to more? You, someone from the inner city, or someone from another country, or someone from the suburbs? Let's be quite honest.
Well, what I was
you came up the same way I did,
right?
The same way millions of these kids do every day. We're growing up in a fatherless society. We're growing up. A lot of our friends, your friends, my friends, didn't have a lot of supervision at home. Most of the time, they were at our homes. We had good parents. We had parents who didn't allow us to do or watch these kinds of things.
Right.
But these children now, in the movie industry, believe me, I'm a critic of the movie industry also. I think that these kids are watching too much TV, period. But my issue is that when you rap about what these children relate to because it's in their environment. You've already stated that they don't know your story because you're a CEO, and I agree. But see, you don't promote that, and your company doesn't promote that. They promote four-letter words.
We don't promote entrepreneurship. We don't promote positive and ownership of your company. I'm making it cool to be smart.
All right.
I'm making it cool. Wait, let me. I'm making it cool to be a business.
It's not about business.
It's about business for you because you feel like it might give you better ratings to portray something negative within the image of hip hop.
It is negative.
It's not negative to be a businessman. It's not negative to take care of the economy around you.
It's negative to make money, Mr. Dash, if you hurt children.
How do you hurt children by promoting to be an entrepreneur and a CEO and to do right by?
Looking at a principle.
For example.
Hold it. You're looking at a principle.
Why you don't want to let him talk? You mad. Where'd you start? Current affair, right?
No, wrong.
Well, you're looking I got dirt on you, doggy.
Cameron,
I'm going to get at you in a minute.
You go ahead. You get at
I'm going to get at you in a minute.
Listen, you're looking at a guy who teaches inner city kids and who's telling you face to face that he has problems with kids based upon a rap music, and you're rationalizing it all up and down.
I thought you were going to mediate.
I am.
The best part is obviously, you mad. I got dirt on you, doggy. Oh, I'm going to get at you in a minute. That became an iconic moment where now online everybody's like, you mad? That was such a great moment. But let's talk a little bit about the substance here. So the argument from Bill O'Reilly and his other guest is that rap music and the culture, it has a tremendous influence on kids, and it's ruining kids' lives because they pick the wrong path and then they go down the wrong path, and it's your fault, Cameron and, other rappers, okay? Now, look, is there a grain of truth in that, of course, the culture, whatever culture it happens to be that you're raised in, affects you? Absolutely. And I don't want to downplay that, and I don't want to say that's wrong and you're an idiot for bringing that up. However, here's why Bill O'Reilly's argument ultimately fails. Because he's not objective in applying that argument. He focuses specifically on black people and on black culture, okay? And the counter-argument that Cameron made and Damon Dash made is, whoa. How many violent movies are out there right now? There's Terminator, there's Rambo, those are old-school movies, but you got plenty of violent movies for the new school, and I don't see you out there saying, well, it's not like the second you leave the movie Taken, all of a sudden you have a hankering to shoot people in the face. Because you understand and you give people enough credit that with movies, well, they're smart enough to discern the difference between what's fake and what's Hollywood and what's reality. But all of a sudden you say that line doesn't exist when it comes to music. But I got news for you, Bill. If you want to be objective about the problem with culture, you also have to say that the whole rock and roll culture has the same problem as the rap culture, because I've given you lists on the show where we've literally covered dozens of songs, white rockers singing endlessly about heroin, endlessly about alcohol, endlessly about sex, endlessly about cocaine. And look, people always make the counter argument, it's not as much. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Whether you go back to 60s and 70s music and you go to the hippie movement with tie-dye shirts and LSD and free love and everybody tuning in and drop out or whatever the fuck it was, or whether you go to like alternative music in the 90s and 2000s, it's there. I know it's there, right? But people only focus on black people. Why? Because they need to scapegoat for a reason to explain why we're keeping them down by not giving them equal opportunity with schools that are just as good as schools in rich white communities. We don't have health care for everybody. The net worth of African-American families has been historically lower, and that's directly linked to the fact that there was 250 years of slavery, and then there was Jim Crow, and then there was segregation, and then there's systemic racism after that, as the multiple studies have proved. So you're looking for a reason to rationalize and pawn off, okay, a system that is inherently unfair to African Americans. And what does Bill O'Reilly point to? What does he use as the scapegoat? It's all the rappers' fault. Everybody blame the rappers. And look, the most important point to make here is twofold. Number one, what is your solution, Bill? Okay, even if I say you're 10% right or 15% right in saying be more responsible, what's the overall solution? You can't regulate free speech and art. Then it wouldn't be art. Art, by definition, represents a counterculture and represents true feelings and emotions. And people growing up in the hood, they feel a certain way and they need to express it a certain way. And like Cameron said in a different part of the interview, I'm just expressing the reality of where I grew up, dude. Who the fuck are you to tell me I can't do that, right? So what is your solution? You can't regulate art. We have a First Amendment. We have the Constitution. We have freedom of speech. You shouldn't regulate art. And then also, let's say we did regulate art or whatever goofy idea Bill O'Reilly has for a solution. Well, then every piece of entertainment in the country would be Leave It to Beaver. And it wouldn't be entertaining. And we would be miserable. So Bill O'Reilly's world sucks balls. If a few people have to take heroin or do some crystal meth or have a shitty life to give us fantastic music and artwork and movies and entertainment and comedy or whatever, that's the world we live in, man. And some parts of that are negative, some parts of that are positive, but to single out just the rap industry and say, blame all them, it's all them, it's all them. It's nonsense. And also there are studies, Bill, that show that, especially when it comes to movies and when it comes to music too in many circumstances, there's no effect. Video games, too. No effect between an increase in crime and an increase in consumption of violent movies, violent video games, rap music, or rock music, or anything.